So I've harvested my garlic and it's in my conservatory curing as we speak. But the question is now, what do we do with an empty bed in summertime? As you can see here, the bed has got a bit overgrown there's some like alpine strawberry runners in there. There's a tired courgette plant that's really struggling. I'm guessing from a nitrogen deficiency. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to give it a good weed, just so there's not as much competition for the courgette and the plants that I choose to fill this bed. The reason you carry on planting is to protect the soil and also to give me a crop further into the season. So I've got a couple more little courgette seedlings here. They've just been in this pot for a few weeks now. As you can see on one of them there's a flower, so it's more than ready to be put in the ground now. It's ready to go. And to companion plant with the courgettes, I've got my favoured Meteor pea seeds ready to go. These are particularly good because they're fast growing, so I should still get a harvest of peas before the first frost. So next thing, I'm going to try and rescue this courgette plant. So I'm adding some fresh new compost to give it some sort of new nutrients. Also, garlic is a very heavy feeder. So anything new in there would need some fresh nutrients anyway. So I'm just putting it around the base, couple of extra inches in there, just to give it a little bit of a boost. What I'm also going to do is I've put some tomato feed in my watering can, so I'm going to give it all a good feed with that fertilizer. So what I'm going to do next is I'm going to dig a hole and I'm going to soak it with water. That way it gives the roots of the new plants a really good start, especially because it's a dry day as well. It is the afternoon here, so it shouldn't dry out too much, but just as an extra precaution, going to give it a good soak, and that way it's going to give the roots of the new plants the really best start that I can. So I'm just going to take it out the pot, tease the roots out slightly, although you can see like it's not particularly pot bound, so that's fine. And I'm just going to press it in, and then I'm going to do the same again for the next one. What I'm also going to do is in between the courgette plants, I'm going to plant or sow the Meteor pea seeds. What I'm going to do with those is I'm going to create 2 inch and a half deep trenches, about 6 to 12 inches apart. I'm going to give them a really good soak as well. Again, just to give them the best start I can. You can see I've got the courgette plant there, the second one. Again, well, they're quite a big plant, quite a hungry plant, so I'm trying to give them as much space as I can. Then here, I'm just digging the trench ready to put the peas in. Just using my trowel there. You can see, look, just a rough estimate, but Meteor pea plants don't get particularly big. And one of the nice things about planting the squashes, so the courgettes, and the legumes, the peas, is the peas fix nitrogen in the soil, so hopefully that should be nice companion plants. And there we go, I'm just soaking the trenches, and then I'm gonna just space the peas out, maybe again a few inches apart, and then I'm going to go back to the woods to forage some pea sticks. So that might be another video going forward. And then once I've sown all the seeds, I'm just going to cover them up sort of with a bit of the fresh compost, and then I'm going to give the whole bed a really good soak with the tomato fertiliser enriched water. So we're just going to get to that in a second. There we go, it's just covering up the peas. What I will do as well is I'm just going to cover this bed up with some trellis, just because the local cats and foxes do tend to dig it up if I don't cover it with something, so that's just a temporary thing until they're out. There we go, giving everything a really good soak. And then hopefully that should perk up this larger, more established but struggling courgette and give the best possible start to these new courgettes. Another issue I have is there are so many slugs at the moment. They've absolutely ravished my dwarf bean plants. So I'm just going to use some of the Slugs Be Gone gel, and I'm going to put 2 rings around each of these courgette plants just to give them a bit of extra protection from the slugs, and again try and give them the best possible start. There we go, 2 rings. Also making sure that there's no breaks in the ring, so if there are a few gaps I just go back round, there you see, and fill in the gaps, just so look, I know for a fact, look, if I leave a gap, that's exactly where the slugs and snails are going to go, so make sure it's well protected. So yeah, that is my succession planting for the summer. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please take the time to leave a comment, like the video and subscribe. Thank you, bye bye.